Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Free Comic Book Day 2022 Avengers X-Men issue 1. This is the 2022 Free Comic Book Day book from Marvel, also known as Judgment Day, because that's what it says on the cover, even though the indicia says something completely different. This book has 3 stories in it. The first is Judgment Day, written by Kieran Gillian, art by Dustin Weaver, colors by Marte Garcia. Then Bloodline, written by Danny Lore, art by Karen Darbo, color art by Ian Herring, edited by Annalisa Biesa. Letters by VC's Corey Pettit on both stories. The third story is Let's Talk About Krakoa, about the X-Men, written by Jerry Dugan, art by Matteo Lally, color art by Rain Burrito, letters by VC's Clayton Cowles, assistant editor Lauren Amaro, Jordan D. White editor. Cover for the book is by Valerio, Schiti, and Marte Garcia. Cover's okay. Cap's face looks weird, but that's how they draw people's faces now, with no lips and always these wide, creepy mouths staring at you. So we start off the first story with the Earth telling us a story, which is stupid. And we see this flashback to a few million years ago where the Avengers the long ago exist, which is dumb. And Odin is learning from a couple of Eternals that there's this species of monkeys that they have to eradicate because they've deviated too much. So he just gets a drink and watches them burn this forest down and murder all these monkeys. Then we jump forward to seeing the Avengers and the Eternals take on a giant monster, and we go over to Krakoa and learn that the Eternals have discovered the fact that the X-Men have found a way to cheat death. They refer to it several times throughout this book as conquering death, but they're not really conquering it, they're cheating it. They haven't ascended after dying or anything, so it's a bit of a linguistic game they're trying to play here. But the fact that the X-Men can no longer be really long-term affected by death with the resurrection protocols really makes them less interesting. And with their ethno state down in Krakoa, they've become pseudo-villains, and a lot of their behavior has been incredibly villainous and authoritarian toward other nations. So that probably would have put them on the course against humanity eventually, but now it looks like the Eternals are going to be against them and the Avengers are going to be caught in the middle. It doesn't look like it's going to be a particularly interesting story. They're desperate to make the Eternals more interesting and to make the overpowered X-Men into some sort of quasi-heroic thing again. I don't think it's going to work that well. But the art was pretty decent. I didn't really have a problem with it. There's some really good panels in there that really show the artist has a lot of talent. So if you're interested in just the art, that looks like that might be pretty good. The second story, Bloodlines, follows this young woman who is, of course, a strong, independent woman of color with dyed hair, who is the best at everything, including taking down vampires. Turns out she's Blade's daughter named Bloodline. This is a teaser for a new book. It looked boring. She looks like a generic modern hero for the last 5 years, where they're all strong, independent women of unknown ethnicity, and they have dyed hair, and they can beat anybody at anything. And of course, she's into nerd stuff, because of course, why wouldn't she be? And the male that she's around is an emasculated, effeminate man who's probably gay and needs her to defend him. So another Mary Sue. Lovely. The Let's Talk About Krakoa story is hyping up how Krakoa gives out these medications in return for effectively blackmailing everyone into accepting the Krakoans, because only they can produce this plant. A bit dumb. And then we see that there's going to be this showdown between the Avengers and the X-Men, and apparently Magneto can manipulate vibranium, which I don't remember ever being a thing before, and he's probably going to kill Captain America, and Mary Jane gets attacked. That issue looked really dumb. That's a promo for Hellfire Gala and Destiny of 10. I don't care about the X-Men books at all anymore. It's really a shame what they've done to them. The art was okay though. The second story about Bloodline had the worst art. It was amateur hour indie art, very pseudo manga look, and it looked like an atrocious storyline I have zero interest in. Like I said, the characters are Mary Sue, and I really do not care at all. Judgment Day is probably going to be the best of the 3 as far as story goes, but the whole thing with the Earth talking and telling you the narration was at best cutesy and at worst highly annoying. The storyline will probably be generically okay, but not very interesting. And of course the X-Men will come out on top because they're representing the underclass minorities. So Marvel has a special love of those type of characters so they can never lose. There are going to be a bunch of Mary and Gary Sues, and the Avengers will come out as the bad guys because most of them are white. I don't know. I could could predict a lot of this just based on the rambling dialogue and boring tone of it. But the concept is interesting, but I don't think they're going to tone down the X-Men anytime soon. I think they're going to double down and make it worse. So I'm not really excited about it. I might pick up issue 1 of Judgment Day. I don't care about Bloodlines, and I don't care about Destiny of 10 or Destiny of X, whatever they're going with now. I just don't care about the X-Men at all. They've gotten way overpowered, and it's boring now, and as it has been for about a decade. So yeah, not a lot coming out of this book for me other than justifying my belief that I shouldn't spend any money on any X books. That's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods, including the Patreon. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.